this has officially gotten out of hand. With the Chicago Bulls having a promising 2025 season, the only question is how will they look to lock up their backcourt? And now with Josh Giddey coming out with a new asking price, the biggest question we get to ask ourselves now is, will the Chicago Bulls play hardball? What is the reaction to this? Hello, my name is Isaias Jackson Jr. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to Bulls Digest. We got to get into the Josh Giddey updated report and his new asking price. And of course, is the Chicago Bulls going to play hardball? But first, 67.5% of you guys are not subscribed. 32.5% of you guys are. We appreciate you guys on both sides. Look, I don't know what it's like on your side of town. I know it's thunderstorming. It's only getting darker and darker. So to make this day sunshiny for Bulls Digest over here, please hit that subscribe button. Don't forget to like and share. And also, thank you guys so much for tuning into Bulls Digest. Josh Giddey reportedly looking for a massive NBA contract. New reports details the Chicago Bulls guard Josh Giddey's asking price in free agency. Of course, the Bulls have plenty of decisions to make with the roster that overachieved after the 2025 deadline, pushing them to the 9th seed in the Eastern Conference. Even though Chicago lost in their home play-in tournament game to the Miami Heat, the emergence of multiple players in the second half of the season should excite Bulls fans. Buzelis looks like a promising player after his solid rookie campaign, and their backcourt duo surprised many over a course of the season. And yeah, we saw the great work that Josh Giddey's put in throughout the season. Of course, even when he went down, we saw the reinforcements come up, the Trey Jones, just imagine Trey Young coming off the bench, for Josh Giddey. But the Trey Joneses of the world coming off the bench and contributing heavily when Josh Giddey went down. You've seen the likes of Zach Collins come through. This roster as a whole came through in a big way after the All-Star break. And Josh Giddey, of course, was a huge reason for that as well with the play that he put up as well. We always talked about the statistics, averaging close to a triple-double after the All-Star break. He was pretty much all around for the Chicago Bulls. So Kobe White took a massive leap, averaging 24-3 per game on 45% shooting from the field. Josh Giddey also took a huge step after coming over in the Alex Caruso trade from the Oklahoma City Thunder. Giddey had a fantastic end to the 2024-2025 campaign, averaging 14.6 points, 8 rebounds, and 7 assists per game, and shooting 37% from 3. Now he's a restricted free agent, and the Bulls will certainly look to retain him. Now, of course, the biggest question we've been asking for the last couple of weeks is how much will the Chicago Bulls be looking to pay for him? Are they going to look to see if he tests his value out in the open market, see if he can get a contract that's worthy, that's up to his playing potential that he's going to be looking for, and the Chicago Bulls can just match it? Or they could look to pay the hefty price for Josh Giddey that he's asking right now, because a new report from Hoops Hype Mike Scotto revealed that the belief around the league is Bulls restricted free agent Josh Giddey hopes to command a similar 5-year, $150 million deal to Orlando Magic guard Jalen Suggs and earn roughly $30 million annually or more. A contract earning $30 million in average annual value will put Giddey in the tier of Tyler Hero, Jalen Suggs, and Jamal Murray, which I do think is good company, and I think you can put Josh Giddey there. I think with the way Josh Giddey contributes, he's a facilitator. Of course, we talked about him being an offensive threat. And that's just in the beginning of his career. We're just seeing him as he is now, and now you're just paying for the potential. You're just paying for the growth of Josh Giddey to see how he comes out to fare after it's all said and done, after he gets the money and after he gets paid and you see him out on the floor. Is he going to be your point guard for the future? And honestly, I think he's shown you that he 100% is. And just listening to him talk about leadership and being a leader out on the floor for Chicago, I think it's really, really awesome to hear. He comes out and says, this is after his post-All-Star break. He says, for me, it was about how hard I played, how I led these guys, how much was on my shoulders. I love that responsibility. The way we finished the season at 15-5, the second half of the year with the player was who I am. And you gotta love that. You gotta love the confidence, exuding from Josh Giddey. And yeah, you saw that leadership aspect on the floor. You've seen him as I mentioned before. He's a really, really awesome facilitator, a fun one to watch at that, especially when it comes to outlet passes. And then of course him on the pick and roll, I think is really, really fair. He's a fun guy to watch when he has the ball in his hands. So seeing him talk about being a leader and wanting to be a leader out on the floor, I think it makes you real, comfortable. And seeing that Josh Giddey is your number one, Josh Giddey is your point guard for the future, which is why I think it is, it's best that you should go out and just pay the man. But obviously, if the Chicago Bulls can go cheap and see if you can get something out in free agency, something a little bit better to help out, at least in the front court, at least for the Chicago Bulls, considering if you're going to move on from a Nikola Vucevic, I think that would definitely be your best bet. Of course, looking at the great work he's done as well, Josh Giddey has been a man on a mission this year. 100 points, of course, 500 rebounds, 500 assists. You see Josh Giddey, LeBron James, and Nikola Vucevic. That man is just sitting there in great company, of course, as you see. And Josh Giddey is going to continue to do this for your team. And that was the NBA players this season, in this 2024-2025 season to reach those totals. And so the man was always on the move, and that was even including the injuries that he sustained throughout the season as well. So he's always going to be helpful on the court, and even sometimes where he is struggling on the offensive side, his passing is still going to be on point. Now, there can be some times where he will come into some turnover mistakes. He can become a little anxious. The pass comes in a little too early. You see a bounce pass that should have been just a forward pass, just a chest pass straight down low. You're seeing a lot of those mistakes there that's going to get cleaned up. But honestly, Josh Giddey, I think, is already a man on a mission when the ball is in his hands. I think, at least in my eyes, he gives me 100% trust that he's going to put the work in and be a contributor on the floor. So even, of course, just going back to his stats, 14.6 points per game, 8.1 rebounds, 7.2 assists, 6'8", 22 years old. As we mentioned before, you're paying for the potential. You're already seeing this man can be a walking triple-double if need be. It's just a matter of what are you going to do here for the Chicago Bulls? Are you going to go the hardball route? Are you going to say, he's a restricted free agency? We have the control here. At some point in time, he will be back in the Chicago Bulls jersey. It's just a matter of how much money we are going to put down for him. But obviously, if you're the Chicago Bulls, your best bet, if you don't want to pay that $150 million and lock him in, of course, for the long haul and guaranteed, your best bet, look, see what you can do there and see what offer you could get in restricted free agency. We can see if we can match it. And obviously, I do think the Chicago Bulls will. And I think they will honestly go that route of keeping Josh Giddey here for the long run and keeping him the potential point guard for the future. But do you think the Chicago Bulls should let Josh Giddey go out there and search for other offers to see if he can find a good offer so that the Chicago Bulls can match? Or do you think the Chicago Bulls should just stop playing games? He is our point guard for the future. Just give him that $150 million. Because as we mentioned before, look, Jamal Murray, Tyler Hero, these guys are really, these guys have been amazing. Well, you've seen Tyler Hero. Tyler Hero's he's taking a step back. We've seen a couple times where Tyler Hero, he goes on a hot streak for a while. You see a month of great work from Tyler Hero, and then of course you'll see him falter with his shooting streak. He could be streaky at times. Jamal Murray, outside of the injuries, he is just an amazing baller out there on the floor. I think you can put Josh Giddey right there in that company, and if you don't, I think it will be a time where you are going to sooner rather than later. So thank you guys so much for tuning in, and I'll see you guys next time.